Please excuse my face, I haven't done any of my contouring yet, so my face does look like a big flat circle, but I'm about to do a tutorial after my nose contouring tutorial to show you how to do the perfect powder contouring. Ugh. One thing that I see a lot of girls doing, especially on YouTube, is contouring their noses just for the sake of contouring their nose. Like, they don't have a big nose. There's absolutely no need for them to contour their nose. And I see them basically darkening around the outside of their nose, and there's just no need for it. Contouring, like, as a rule, is to shape things or to make them recede. Obviously, you're using a darker color, so it's going to push things back. So if you do have a bigger nose like I do, then contouring is brilliant. But if you already have a good nose, you don't need to contour it. All that's going to do is make your nose stand out, and at the end of the day, it's a nose. Noses already stand out. So anyway, rant over. The color I'm going to be using is this one here. This is Strata by MAC, and it's actually one of their bronzing shades, but it's not really a bronzer. It's basically like a little bit darker version of just a natural skin tone, and it's quite a cool tone. So if you have a darker skin shade, like if you are Greek or Italian, or you have that real olive skin tone, maybe go for, well, obviously go for a darker color. But I don't want to go for a colour that's going to be too dark, because that's just going to be too obvious that I have contoured my nose and then I actually have a big nose. I've taken a little bit of that powder on my brush, and the brush I'm using is just an angled flat concealer brush. It's nothing special, but basically I'm just going to be drawing 2 lines down the bridge of my nose. I'm going to be curving it underneath the tip of my nose, and then I'm just going to be drawing a little line above the tip of my nose. So the bridge of my nose is actually pretty thick, so it ends about here, and I want the bridge of my nose to appear that thin. So that's where I'm going to be drawing my lines. So decide how thin you want your nose to look, and that's where you want to put your lines. A lot of people also start way up here near their brows, and that just makes that area there look more obvious. So I'm going to be starting my contour just where the inner corners of my eyes are, like not above that, just from here down. So I don't even know if you can see that because it is pretty subtle, but it's there. So did you see I was kind of curling it underneath my nose there? So I've got 2 small lines underneath there, and I'm just going to deepen that a little bit. So I'm basically just running the brush underneath my nose, but I'm not applying any more product. Yeah. So I've got 2 lines here now, and I'm not going to darken them anymore. You may not be able to see them, I'm not really sure yet what is actually visible on camera, but I assure you they are there, and we actually do want them to be subtle. But basically the lines are there. So now what I'm going to do is draw a line just above the tip of my nose. If you already have a natural curve to your nose and your nose kind of is upturned, then you really don't need to worry about this so much. But if you have a straight nose like I do, it's quite a straight angular nose, then you are going to want to put this little line above the tip of your nose, because otherwise with our contouring we'll have made our noses look even more angular and even more straight, which isn't a bad thing, but a little bit above the tip does go a long way into giving you that nice curve to your nose. So I'm just applying it right there above the tip of my nose. So there's about maybe a little bit more than a centimetre between the line at the bottom of my tip and the line at the top of the tip of my nose. So my lines are in place, and now I'm just going to blend them out. So you can do this with your finger. I'm going to get a little shader brush and blend it out that way. So this one here is just a little crap brush that I got for free from Estee Lauder, and it's not really good for anything except blending contouring on my nose. So basically I'm not going to disturb the lines that I've already drawn, because they are there for a reason and they've been placed strategically there. So you don't want to move where you've put your line, you basically just want to softly blend around it so that it fades away to nothing. And you're going to do short little feathery strokes. You don't want to be like, because you're just going to move the lines you've already put and destroy all your work. You don't have to be as careful under the tip of your nose, because no one's really going to see that too much, but blend that out. Now my nose is contoured. So it's still a very subtle contour. You can't hopefully see that I've got 2 lines down the bridge of my nose. but I do, but they are blended away to nothing so that it's not so obvious. I see some girls now go in and highlight the bridge of their nose, but I'm not going to do that because I already have a big nose, and the reason I'm contouring it is to make it appear smaller and thinner. So if I highlight it, it's kind of defeating the purpose of contouring it. So I am going to leave the highlighter out. It's up to you if you do want to highlight your nose or if you just want to leave it contoured. If you do have a nose that is a little bit bigger than you would like, I would recommend that you do not highlight your nose. Just highlight the areas on your face that you do like and that you want to emphasize, like your cheekbones or inside the corners of your eyes, etc. Of course, you can contour your nose with cream as well. I will do a tutorial for that after this one. But because I have very, very oily skin, if I put too many liquid or cream products on my nose, when my face gets oily, it just ends up looking like a huge mess. So I like to do a fine layer of liquid foundation on my nose, powder that in place, and then do my powder contouring for my nose, because the powders are obviously going to keep my nose a lot more matte than if I had used the creams. So depending on your skin type, if you have a drier skin, contour your nose with the cream technique. If you have an oily nose like I do, use the powder technique. So once I've done the tutorial for the cream contouring for your nose, I will link that at the bottom of this video and you can check that out. So this is my nose contoured. I should have actually taken a photo of it before I contoured it so you could see the difference, but this is it basically. Sometimes I forget to contour my nose if I'm in a rush, and I do notice a difference. My nose does look a lot flatter and bigger. So when I contour my nose, it makes a huge difference and I feel a lot more comfortable about my nose. So I hope you found that helpful, and if you have any questions, just leave them down below and I'll get back to you. Otherwise, I hope you have a brilliant day. Bye!